What the? Dude, holy shit.
Deep inside jungles, in the heart of remote lands and isolated wilderness, live terrifying creatures and unidentifiable anomalies. Many that go unnoticed, but now and then they come across trail cameras, and what goes on next is as thrilling as you'd imagine. Ever had that gut feeling that you shouldn't watch a certain video? Well, here is one of those moments, so you might as well skip it. A mysterious creature was seen in an unknown jungle. It was shaking its head with a weird, scary noise. From the back, it looked like a Bigfoot given its height and fur. But then it turned towards the camera. It had the head of a goat, like the mythical Minotaur, and then it gave out a blood-curdling scream that could make you fall off your feet. Seemed like a dark spirit doing an evil chant. Whatever it was, let us hope we never get to see it again. Fearsome werewolf. If you ever lose your dog at night, it might be best to wait until morning to look, because you never know what's hiding out there in the dark. But it looks like a woman in Wisconsin did worry and went searching for her lost dog, armed with nothing but a flashlight. But what she found out there made her forget about her dog altogether.
So, I'm out tonight at nighttime because my dog, Macy, just ran away.
It was a very scary looking werewolf that suddenly appeared through the darkness in front of her.
Is that her?
It had clear white eyes and was moving towards the woman with sinister intention. Unfortunately, there is no footage after that to tell the rest of the tale. Most animals don't seem to like cameras, but this black bear absolutely hates them. Filmed in Island Park, Idaho 6 years ago, the video shows how swiftly a bear can approach its target. The bear in question just stood there for a moment, wondering what to do next, and then out of the blue just jumped at the camera while making angry growling noises, and then just went away as quickly as it had come. Luckily, no human being was attached to the camera at time of filming, or Island Park would have been closed for human visits. Hide and seek.
What the? Dude, holy shit.
9 years ago, a group of T-Angers just wanted to play hide and seek in a forest in Canada. Little did they know that something else was playing games with them too. As the boy ran towards the camera, a huge ape-like creature was seen running between the trees. It was a Bigfoot. Maybe it was just curious about the visitors to its forest. But one thing is for sure, there is no one better at hide and seek than Bigfoot, because when the teenagers chased the Bigfoot to investigate where it hid itself, it had completely vanished. Farm problems. A farmer in California sensed some disturbance in his barn in the middle of the night and went out to capture him. But what he found made him wish he hadn't left his house. The intruder was a huge Sasquatch bent over in a corner. As soon as it saw the farmer, it charged towards him. Although its movements were eerily slow, the farmer got so scared he became rooted to the spot. The Sasquatch almost grabbed him. In their struggle, we get a view of the monster's feet, which clearly can't be a human's. Finally, the farmer was able to free itself from the monster and escape to safety. Munched up camera. A trail camera found itself in the unlikeliest of places, inside the mouth of a beast. The creature probably mistook it for lunch. You could even hear the crunching noises. If the camera had a soul, it would have left its body already. However, after being unsuccessful in taking a bite off the camera, the beast threw it out to the ground. And voila, the beast came into sight. It was just a couple of young lions. Could have been worse or better, depending on what you were expecting. Camp fright. 3 years ago, a group of friends went for a camping trip in a jungle. While sitting around the bonfire, they heard weird, spooky noises coming from a distance. To add to their horror, they realized one of their female members was missing. They went into the jungle screaming her name. After a little while, they found her hunched in a makeshift tent made from branches. But what came out of there gave them a shock from which they are still reeling. A cryptid humanoid appeared that had 4 hands and a weird complexion. It plunged at the campers. The camera fell from the campers' hands, and there is no telling what happened after that. Turkey trails. A couple of trekkers in Turkey were hiking on a forest trail at night when they encountered this mysterious creature. It had dark fur and a light gray face. Its eyes glowed lightly. It was crouching on the ground on all fours, staring menacingly at the trekkers when suddenly it just disappeared. The trekkers were puzzled and trying to figure out where it had gone when suddenly it reappeared in front of them again, but this time it snarled at them like an angry beast. The trekkers felt their curiosity fade fast. They knew exactly what they had to do: get out of there as quickly as possible. Indisputable proof.
Breaking news out of Texas: Bigfoot is real. According to a group of researchers.
A group of researchers led by Adrian Erickson began a project in 2008 called the Erickson Project, costing $500,000 to investigate the existence of the Bigfoot. They released this video footage in 2013 that showed a Bigfoot not only walking in the woods, but also a close-up of one sleeping on the forest floor.
All had experiences that have changed our lives. I mean, literally shook the foundations of what we believe in.
They even claim to have DNA proof that Bigfoot exists. But when you show this evidence to the doubters, they become mum. Bigfoot exists. Enough said. Chance sighting. A couple of bikers were riding along a snowy bike trail in 2016 when their bike cam caught this. A Bigfoot was standing on the right side of the trail, nearly camouflaged behind the tree behind it. However, it soon decided to walk away, and that is when it appeared clearly in the video. The bikers did not see the Bigfoot while riding. They saw the creature after reviewing the video back home. Lucky them, because can you imagine what would have happened if they decided to confront the Bigfoot? Wild boar appears. Japan is home to thousands of wild boars, and citizens have been warned to stay away from them. But a wildlife enthusiast wanted to capture some on a trail cam in 2023. But the boars did not seem pleased with the device. A boar approached the camera sniffing and oinking, and then tugged at it viciously while making angry noises. It did not give up pulling till the time the cam was not dislocated from its position. So much for observing wild boars, eh? Witchfoot. A mysterious figure was caught by a trail cam in a forest in Canada, and it is believed to be one of the most convincing Bigfoot videos ever. Although the beastly creature remained covered by the tree for most of the duration, it's enough to tell you, this is no ordinary man donning a suit to prank us. That stature and height alone tells you this creature isn't to be trifled with. Sadly, because it was a trail camera, it couldn't reveal where the Bigfoot went. Fascinating creature. A nature lover in California wanted to capture videos of the fascinating animals in the jungle near his house, but they weren't expecting this. A spooky figure appeared in the video dragging its feet on the forest floor. It had a creepy white face and short height, and it appeared to have no arms at all. Thankfully, it also did not realize that a camera was watching it, so it kept walking and passed just beside the camera into the darkness of the night. Night rake. A trail cam in the cold Appalachian winter caught this cryptid humanoid crawling across the landscape. It had unnaturally long arms and legs with an extremely thin back And if anyone is still going to doubt that it is staged, look at its extremely small head. It is as thin as its neck. The creature did look like a rake, and it also looked back at the camera with flashing eyes as if it knew it was being watched by something. Baby Bigfoot.
Holy shit.
The forests in Washington have reported the highest number of Bigfoot sightings among all the states in the United States. But it looks like this trekker didn't know about that. He was just hiking through a part of a forest when he was met by this sight. A baby Bigfoot appeared in the clearing ahead and began moving towards the trekker on all fours. It was coming in fast. The trekker did not wait for any other signals but turned tail and dashed in the opposite direction. A viewer commented that the trekker should have stayed as the baby Bigfoot just wanted to be friends. But would you take the risk and stay?
Holy shit.
Birch Bay monster. Birch Bay in Washington was rumored to have a unique species of Bigfoot, but there was no confirmed sighting till a curious resident installed a trail cam in his neighboring woods in 2021. And there it was, tall, lanky, and creepy. This spotted Bigfoot was walking through the trees. It had a grayish face as seen from the side. Moving silently and stealthily, it just seemed to fade in the darkness. Even the viewers pointed out that it was a very strange kind of Bigfoot with an extremely weird body shape that had never been seen before. Dark Spirit.
See that thing right there? It's creeping me out.
A YouTuber named James Jones wanted to create a fictional indie horror movie in 2012. Little did he know that the fiction would stare back at him in reality. James made a prop ritual circle in a Tennessee forest for his project, but when he went back to check on it the next day, the circle was already occupied by an unsettling dark figure. There is no explanation of what this mysterious creature might be, but it was completely black and it did not reflect the sunlight either. James was smart enough to not go near the figure for a better shot. Did James somehow manage to summon a dark spirit with his circle? What do you think it was?
See that thing right there? It's creeping me out.
Anxious Dogman. A CCTV camera in Michigan pointing at the backyard of a house caught a spooky creature at night. At first it looked like it was a bear. It was anxiously looking around for something, but when the image was zoomed in, it had a long face like a dog, as it had no paws like a dog but long arms like a human. Netizens identified it as the Dogman, which has been frequently sighted in Michigan before this as well. However, in the past it used to be in jungles and forests, but now it is getting close to homes. That can't be good. Cougar chase.
Nope.
A hiker in Utah swore he is not going back to those mountains after this happened to him. He was jogging carefree on a track when a cougar found him and began following him at his speed.
Stupid kitty cat.
The hiker was scared to the bone and his voice shook with fright as the mountain lion followed. He kept shouting at it, trying to shoo it away, but the big cat did not stop its pursuit.
Go eat your babies. You're not getting me, dude.
Shaking in his boots and shouting all sorts of things on the cougar, the hiker finally picked up a stone and pretended to throw it at the beast. That convinced the cougar to turn tail and run away, but that was a very close shave.
Nope.
Camp Freak.
Holy.
A man and his daughter were camping near a river when they heard a disturbance on the other side of the bank. At first, they thought it was a coyote and the man lit up his torch to investigate. But what they saw gave them the fright of their lives. It was a reptilian humanoid, eerily gray in color with scales that shone like small crystals. Walking along the far bank of the river, it turned towards the campers when it realized someone was shining a light on it. The real worry is, where have these reptilian creatures come from and what is their objective?
Holy.
Crop muncher. A rancher in Oregon noticed that his crops were being destroyed by some unknown animal at night, so he placed a trail cam in his field to investigate. When he checked the footage the next day, he saw a Sasquatch staring back at the camera. The incident created quite a stir in the community. It was one of numerous sightings in the area in recent times, and the people began taking extra precautions to safeguard their crops from these not-so-mythical monsters. Gator meal. If you ever tour Florida, make sure you stay away from gators. However, in 2013, this particular tourist went there for the sole purpose of sighting alligators in a lake. He tied a GoPro cam on a stick and brought it as close as possible to an alligator in the water. The gator did not seem to mind for a couple of moments, but as soon as it realized there was something foreign in its environment, it pounced at the camera with wide open jaws, with its sharp teeth bared. Its movement was silent yet swift, and you can only imagine how quick these gators are in the water and how far you are supposed to be from them. Cryptid eyes. A homeowner found their dog acting strangely and staring at something in the dark, but not trying to approach it. As the homeowner peered around the corner, they found a set of glowing eyes piercing through the dark. Now, before you say it was a cat or a possum, don't you think the dog would have pounced on it immediately? The eyes were about a foot above the ground and definitely belonged to a cryptid creature. The dog owner did the most sensible thing after this and pulled his dog back into the house. Dog cam. One genius citizen had a different idea for a trail cam. They tied a cam to a dog's back and let it go free on a trail in the Appalachian Mountains.
Using this camera that he puts on its back.
This is what the cam captured. A Bigfoot crossing the trail in front of it. As you can see, the dog stood rooted to its spot, recognizing immediately that this wasn't an ordinary creature it was used to bark at. You could say humans can err, but would you doubt the keen senses of a dog? It was definitely a Bigfoot. Identity unknown. A mysterious creature was caught on a home security camera in September of this year that has baffled cryptid enthusiasts around the world. The creature was trying to enter a private property. It had the strangest features. Its left arm looked like a human's, but its right forearm was furry and looked like the paw of a cat. Now, how do you explain this creature? It also does not belong to the periodic table of cryptid creatures, as this was the first of a kind sighting. Was this a mutant? And one of many we'll come to see. Werewolf night. If you hear some noise coming from outside your house in the middle of the night, do not go out to check what it is. 1 year ago, a resident in Brazil made the same very mistake with the full moon in the sky. The source of the disturbance was a cryptid creature sitting on the boundary wall of his house. It was a huge mass of gray hair with spooky eyes. Experts identified the creature as a werewolf, and as soon as the beast saw its prey, it made a dash towards the resident. Luckily, he had a cool head and ran back inside the safety of his house. Marching Bigfoot. In 2001, a man named Harley Hoffman captured a video of a Bigfoot in a forest in British Columbia, Canada, but chose not to release it till 2006 for unknown reasons. This is one of the clearest videos of a Bigfoot out there, which was seen marching through the trees. Initially, many wondered if it was just a gorilla, but animal experts have outright denied this, which means we're really looking at the mythical beast come to life. But even with proof like this, many are still disbelievers. Well, some people just can't be helped. Nosy squatch. You just cannot fix trail cameras in forests and expect a Sasquatch to not notice it. A year ago, a curious citizen set up a trail cam in a forest in Washington in hopes of catching some mysterious creatures. He got more than what he wished for. A shaggy creature found the camera. It was trying to hide its face. It had long hair like a lion's mane and a huge nose. Suddenly, it tore the camera off its place and then went on to drag it along the forest floor. Looks like trail cams will need security guards from now on too. Crazy clown. If you see a clown and don't see balloons or birthday hats, you better clear out that area fast, as was proved by this particular clown in a forest. You could say that the clown was there to camp only, but it didn't have enough luggage with it for that. I was clearly annoyed by the sight of the camera though. Was it up to something nasty then? It tried ignoring the camera for a while, but then smashed it to the ground. The owner of the cam has still not been identified, and we can only hope the clown did not track them down too. Day Giant. On September 28th, 2024, the unthinkable happened. A group of hunters were exploring a Canadian forest for deer when one of them found some interesting tracks made by an unknown animal. On their last day of the trip, the curious hunter took a camera and went back to the spot where he had seen those tracks. And after a while, he saw it. In broad daylight, a Bigfoot appeared in front of him. The video footage is high quality, showing the full face of the ferocious giant. Doesn't it look intimidating? Pecker Woods. Forests are full of surprises, and it looks like the animals have waged a war against cameras. But a Russian scientist came up with a genius idea in 2021. While placing a camera in the Nizhny Tversky Nature Reserve, his team disguised it as a piece of tree bark to keep it safe from curious animals. But they regretted it once a woodpecker decided that this particular tree bark was too tempting to resist. The scientist team could only look on helplessly as the wildlife camera was pecked repeatedly by the woodpecker until it was destroyed. No matter what you do, you just cannot invade the privacy of the animals. False fright. It was a dark night, and it was awfully quiet. A lone trail camera recording the sights. Suddenly, a mysterious creature appeared on the site. Hairy and creepy, it pulled on the camera with all its might. Its movements alone will send you into fright. Tugging and heaving, it even tried to bite, but suddenly its face appeared to the right. Lo and behold, the camera was in no plight. It was just a dog exploring the night. Phew, that was close. New alien. A mysterious figure was caught on cam in Australia in 2019. It all happened when one explorer lost his way and found himself facing, well, this. It was a yellow-colored cryptid creature with elongated arms and the spookiest dark eyes you have ever seen on a living thing before. It was observing its surroundings like an animal trying to hide from something. Had it arrived there just recently, or had it been hiding there for some time now? Many believe it could be an alien, and with the way things are going, I'm beginning to think the same. Don't return. A Canadian hunter fixed a trail camera in an Albertan forest to observe some deers in the area. However, what the camera captured made him pick up a new hobby altogether. It was a hairy and large hand with long nails. It hovered eerily in front of the camera for a while, making a few gestures as if warning the hunter about what to expect if he ever visited that forest again. All netizens agreed that the hand belonged to a Sasquatch. Hairy smuggler. The Sequoia National Forest in Northern California was suspected as a route used by criminals, so the police mounted a surveillance camera on a tree to track their movements. However, their plans were wasted by an unwanted visitor. A huge hairy monster ripped off the camera from the tree and threw it to the ground. It didn't stop there either. It tried to cover the camera with some leaves too. Given its unnaturally long claws, viewers commented that it was definitely a Bigfoot. Crime or no crime, Bigfoots clearly don't want unwelcome intruders in their forests. Arab rake.
Caralho, velho. Puta, onde que tá agora, pô? Ah lá.
A mysterious cryptid humanoid was spotted walking on a desert route near Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It was tall and lanky with extremely long arms and legs. It was walking heavily along the route as if exhausted from the heat. It looked like a rake, but a bit different. However, as soon as it disappeared behind a dry bush, it did not reappear again on the path. Did it just magically disappear or took another path into the desert? We will never know, and the people sighting it were smart enough to not go after it.
Caralho, velho. Puta, onde que tá agora, pô? Ah lá.
Just leg it. In 2011, a trail cam in the Appalachian Mountains caught the strangest of creatures. These two spectral beings were walking down the mountain path. They were eerily white like ghosts. One was tall and the other was short. But the strangest part? They had no torsos. There were just heads on a pair of legs walking slowly down the pathway. Doubters gonna speculate, but hey, did you know the Appalachian had the highest number of human disappearances in the United States? Maybe now you know why. Dear deer. In 2019, a YouTuber named Tyler Miller set up a trail camera in Hobble Creek Canyon, Utah to observe the wildlife there. Little did he know that the wildlife would begin observing him. Almost instantly, after he left his camera, it began receiving visitors. In this footage, a couple of curious deer were seen playing with the camera. You just gotta appreciate the intelligence of the wild animals who are very quick in observing the changes that happen in their surroundings. The deer in question smelled the camera, then licked it, and finally left it alone. Crouching Dogman. This is one of those videos you wish was a hoax, and that the creature in question did not actually exist. This video footage was made using a GoPro cam in an unknown forest. It clearly shows a dogman scanning the forest floor, probably moving around to hunt something. But then it looked at the camera. It had a huge head and a super long snout. Even its blinking would creep you out. Now, do you get what I meant when I said you wish it wasn't real? Wolfy Unity. Yellowstone Park is a sanctuary for the nearly extinct gray wolf. A camera was installed there in 2019 to observe the population of the wolves in the park, but the wolves seemed to be bothered by the unmoving visitor. They probably had a meeting too to decide the fate of the camera, because one after the other the wolves came one by one on separate days to uproot the cam. Finally, it took 2 of them to bury the cam in the snow. A job well done is what they would have reported to their superiors. Lonely ghost. It is said that ghosts come back from the grave because of unfinished business on Earth. Makes you wonder what this ghost was doing on a deserted road. Caught by a trail cam in 2015, the tiny ghost was crossing the road in the middle of the night. It kept changing its shape for some reason and suddenly just vanished gradually into the air. Looks like the ghost was on break that night and thankfully not haunting anyone among the living. Gliding legs. When you see something that you cannot explain, what can you even do? A security camera in a house in California caught these spooky creatures walking past the boundary wall. These were 2 ghostly creatures which were completely transparent and seemed to have been formed from some form of vapor. They shone and walked across as if floating. The freaky part was that they seemed to have legs with heads on top and no torsos. So now tell me, how would you feel if these creatures were spotted near your house? Australian Sasquatch. To those who thought Sasquatch was only an American monster, well, here you go. A Sasquatch was sighted by a couple of hikers while walking through some woods in Australia. Tall and dark with extremely long arms, this sighting just cannot be called a hoax. Are these Australian Sasquatches cousins to the American ones? Or were they in Australia all along and we were just never able to detect them? The mystery is afoot, folks, and I can't wait to know more. Open discussion. This video is proof that there are still dangerous creatures in the wild that we know nothing about. A trail camera was installed in a forest by Bigfoot enthusiasts, but what they saw was even worse. A goblin-like creature with an ugly, evil face approached the camera and struck it down to the ground. It clearly wasn't as cautious as a Bigfoot and did not care about being seen either. Beware of the creatures of the night. You might just find more than what you hope for. Thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.